G'day guys, ZiggyD here. Apologies if I look a bit tired. I just came off the back of a 13-hour stream for day one of Breach League, so I'm a little bit fatigued and frazzled. But I wanted to get this video out as early as possible for you guys. I've been wanting to do a bit more info on trading for you guys, give you guys a bit more insight into the trading process, and show you guys some trading action. And what I want to do here is potentially a series of videos, but starting with this video here where I want to talk about trading and producing wealth and also getting yourself geared up in the first 24-48 hours of a league. So right when you're leveling in a new league. And there's a lot of exciting things you can do at this point in the game, and it's a bit of a wild west as far as the trading economy goes, and there's a potential to get some great sales. Like I remember in Prophecy, one of my highlights was getting Wind Ripper on day one from a Prophecy and selling it for several exalts before, while demand was high, before full information was out there as to what these things should actually be priced at long term. Because long term, it turned out that Prophecy for Wind Ripper was very common, previously a very expensive item, but this league was actually very common, and I managed to sell it for a large amount of money before the prices dropped to almost nothing because of how common it was. And so you can do things like that. You can sell things for large amounts of money early on, taking advantage of high demand and low supply, and also lack of knowledge out there in the community, and also purchasing things for bargain cheap prices as well. So let's get into that a little bit here. Here we are at the end of the first day. I played for around 12 and a half hours or so. And this is what I'm sitting on currency-wise at the moment. We've got 9 Chaos Pure and a mixture of other currency, 35 Fuse and things like that. What I'll probably do is each day, or each time I do an update on this, I'll give you guys a look at the currency I've made since the last video, potentially. But this is what I'm sitting on at the moment. So I'll go through some significant purchases and things and how I set them up. So one thing that you should be doing in the first 24-48 hours of a new league is keeping your feelers out there, keeping your tendrils out there, looking for items that you need for your build or that you think are going to go up in value and that you want to potentially be able to profit from long term. So this could be flipping, this could be buying things early league when people want a bunch of cash to be able to buy items that they want and then reselling them later on, or buying them as an investment later for your character. Or just buying to help speed up the leveling process so you can get ahead of other people and produce wealth by being ahead of people and being better geared than them. So one way of doing this is whoops on PoE.Trade, and I use this to great effect today. I managed to get myself a 5-link within the first several hours of the league. Lots of people coming in the stream being like, how do you already have a 5-link? Typical stream RNG, that sort of thing. But in reality, all I did was sold some leveling items that as I had leveled, to use the currency I found, and kept an eye out until a good bargain on a 5-link was spotted. So the way that you're going to be doing this is by setting up a live search on PoE.Trade. And if you guys don't know how to do this, this is crucial. This is crucial information to efficient and effective trading. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this as an example. So let's say early league, you're looking for a 5-link. You're going to be searching body armor, and you're going to put your links in that you need. So let's go into links, minimum 5. Let's go maximum 5 so that we exclude tubular asses. It is worth potentially keeping an eye out for 6 links as well, because sometimes you can snag a cheap 6-link early on as well. And then, what type we generally need. I know that I need some form of energy shield base. Doesn't matter if it's hybrid, because I need a bunch of blue sockets, right? So that's what we do. We set that up, then we do the search. Now, this is usually like the limit of how people go for, so you can see what's available now. But the important thing is, okay, so at this point, 5 Chaos-ish is kind of the baseline for getting stuff like this. Looks like I didn't end up putting in the right amount of energy shield there. So this is kind of your baseline for what's available now. Maybe when you first start, this is actually nothing available. As you can see, we're getting now to the point where you can actually pick up some 5-links pretty cheap. I think this guy actually might be trying to price fix though, because I think I tried to message this guy earlier and he didn't respond. But we're looking more at like 6 or 7 Chaos now. So when I first started doing this, there was a 5-link for 15C, and then later there was another one for 12C, and then there was some for like 10 and 7C. But what I did is I just clicked this button here. Click here to perform this search in a live fashion. So now this will refresh automatically every 15 seconds. You can change this if you want. And then you can set up for a sound notification. So if you check this box just here, whenever an item appears, it will go whoop. Hence the calling this the whoop system, and it will let you know that a item that matches your description, what you're looking for, has actually been found. So I've got live searches going for multiple different things. I've got a live search here for scepters with high fire spell damage and cast speed. So whenever something like this appears, then I'm going to snag it if it's for a good price, or if it's, if it's a nice item. I've also got one going for jewels for my build. So I've got using the count function here. This is a good idea to start looking out for jewels for your build early on, because early league people drop jewels, can drop at almost any level pretty much. So early league people will get like a 3-stat jewel and they just want to make a quick chaos or two because they want to buy some leveling item or something. So you can snag some really nice 3-stat leveling jewels, or 3-stat jewels that you will use at endgame, I should say, while you're leveling, and then just set those aside until you can equip them. So all you do is you add in all of the possible stats that are good for you that you actually want on a jewel, and then you go count. So you select count from this drop down box here and put 3, and then that will search for 3-stat jewels that match any combination of 3 of those. So as we can see, there's one here: spell damage, fire damage, cast speed, 10C. I'm probably looking for better bargains than this at the moment. That's like a fair price. We want bargains here. So we're gonna put the live search back on, and if anything appears, we'll snag it up. We'll grab that. I've also got a live search going for jewels for Blade Flurry builds, right? Because if I've got a maximum price buyout here of 2 chaos, because you just heard a whoop. If one of these appears for 2 chaos, then I know I should instantly buy that and then resell that in a day or two's time when the prices start to settle into what they're actually going to be. Something more like 7 to 10 chaos. So just keeping an eye out for those guys so we can make some extra money that way. Looks like some 5 links appeared here, and we see a 5 link here. It's worth messaging this guy just to see if this is actually available, because this is not a bad purchase just yet. It looks like he just ended up repricing it at 10 chaos. I think he mispriced it accidentally there. We'll go ahead and get rid of that one. So that's how the live search feature works, and you should be doing this for any uniques that you need for your build, any rares that you want for your builds, jewelry, jewels, anything like that you can set up live searches for, and keep that search running, and try and snag some good bargains. Like, actually buying is half of your economy, right? Like, buying good stuff and getting those cheap deals early on, getting those good investments is quite nice. So after a while I managed to pick up a 5C 5 link just here at a time when 5C was really good for that and allowed me to progress really quickly using Flame Blast. So that has worked quite nicely. So now let's talk about actually making money. What things you should be selling and how you should be selling them in the first 24-48 hours of a league. So I got some examples of some trades I made just here. You should be trying to sell leveling gear like this. And this actually fulfills 2 examples, right? This is just a decent leveling sword. You wouldn't normally think to sell something like this. Certainly a week into a league, you wouldn't be able to sell something like this, but I sold this for a chaos. I chucked it in my stash and I sold it for a chaos within like 10-20 minutes. So this sort of stuff I'm turning over at high volume while leveling. Anything like this, I'm turning over. Now, in particular, this also fills another example because it shows this idea of trying to spot what is popular, what is trendy, what is hyped at the moment. I know a lot of people are leveling Blade Flurry right now. New skill, super hype, very strong. Everybody loves Blade Flurry. Lots of people have made Blade Flurry guides for physical Blade Flurry builds using swords and daggers. So I'm picking up one-handed swords and daggers because I know Blade Flurry people need those to level with, and they want to start getting some stuff. Especially around like that level 50, 60-ish, people are looking for something to get them good enough so that they can start farming maps or start farming Dried Lake or just progress past that hurdle that they're stuck on. So picking up stuff like this and selling that, even though you think this wouldn't normally be sellable, this is definitely something you should be looking for. And try and identify those things that are popular, right? Flame Blast, very popular. Keep an eye out for those +1 scepters that have added fire damage and fire elemental damage and cast speed on them. That sort of thing you should be selling. Next example here is a wand that I sold for 2 chaos. Not a particularly crazy looking one. We got just 50 spell damage. We got some nice added fire damage to spells and cast speed. Crit multi at this point doesn't really make too much difference. That's something that's more impactful later on. But it's also got some resists on it as well, which makes a difference for people leveling. Sold this for 2 chaos. Just another good example, right? I know there's a lot of fire spellcasters going on. A lot of people looking for decent spellcaster gear to level with. And this is like a good offhander for someone who has something like a life sprig in their main hand or a +1 wand in their main hand or something like that. So sold that for 2C. Not bad. The next thing is you will find various gems while leveling. Just chuck them all in a tab if they're not particularly valuable jewels that you wouldn't normally sell, chuck them all in a tab for like 1 fuse, 2 alks, a regal, something like that, a chaos maybe. You won't sell as many at chaos, but you can definitely sell a lot of stuff like this for 1 fuse. So I list a bunch of this stuff. I sold a multi-strike that I found earlier for 1 fuse, and I list up a bunch of this stuff. Any Val skills you find, like Val Deno Dead, Val Power Siphon, things like that. Put those all up for 1 chaos, especially support gems and things like that. There is actually a market for flipping gems from vendors, so if you can identify gems that are particularly highly in demand that are not able to be purchased from the vendor by the builds that want to use them, by the classes that want to use them, then you can flip those and sell those to those people. Sometimes you can even get like a chaos for that, but that's kind of like busy work. I feel like you don't make enough for that for the time, but that is something you can be aware of. The next thing is move speed boots. In the first couple days, people are hanging for move speed boots, and some people just get screwed by RNG and just do not find any move speed boots. So those people will buy them. I actually sold a pair of boots just like these, with lower amount of life. It had like 30 life on them for 1 chaos, just because someone was really hard up. They were fed up. They wanted some move speed. Only 10% move speed even. I was still able to sell for 1 chaos. So list up any like move speed boots that also have some life and resist on them. Put those up for like a chaos or something. If it's got 30% move speed, then put them up for like 2 chaos. And you'll make some money off that, trust me. Another thing that's in high demand is jewelry. I don't actually have very much on hand at the moment, just a few breach rings, but that's because, you know, I tend to sell them or use them if I find them. But jewelry is in high demand. Rings and amulets that have good life and resists on them in the first couple days will sell really well. In hardcore in particular, high life, high resistance rings and amulets will sell very well as well. You can sell those from anywhere from like 1 to 4C, even if it's only like a level 20 or 30 ring. If it's got a decent life roll for that level with some, you know, triple or double resists on it, then you can get a couple chaos for that, and people will even use that sort of stuff, you know, at kind of endgame. In these early days, you can sell a lot of jewelry that you wouldn't normally think you could sell. So price that stuff up, and even if you're not sure if it's going to sell, just price that stuff for 1C. You're better off putting it in the 1C tab and vendoring it later if it doesn't sell. If you have the stash tab space to do it, then chuck it in there, because you will be surprised how many of those sorts of things actually sell. Now, another concept I want to mention is actually this idea of knowing when not to sell stuff, because sometimes you'll find items that you could sell right away for a pretty low amount, but in a couple days' time, it'll actually be worth quite a bit more. Vile Haste and Vile Discipline are a good example of that. I found a Vile Discipline, ended up selling it for 1C, and the more I thought about this and analyzed the way the market goes, and you know, I was like, I swear these are usually worth more. And then we eventually figured it out, and discussed it with chat. And the idea is that early on in the league, especially with something like Vile Discipline, right? People don't need those. People haven't switched to CI yet. They're not really playing as an ES build. They don't really need their Vile Discipline. They try to buy that in a couple days when they actually swap to CI. So what ends up happening is a lot of people are running Vile side areas while leveling, and they're pretty much just getting a bunch of gems from those. So there's heaps of these gems entering the market. So like, look at all these Vile Hastes, right? There's so many Vile Hastes here. And what? Everyone runs Vile Haste. Like nearly every build uses Vile Haste, and every CI build uses Vile Discipline. So the demand is going to be there, just people don't need these yet. They're not buying them in the first day or two. So in this case, it's actually better to hold on to these sorts of things and try to sell them in a couple days' time, or in 2 days' time, when these things go up to 5 or 6 or 7C, or when those Vile Disciplines go up to 3 or 4C instead of 1C. It's a good idea to hold off on some of those things. You'll find the same trend with some uniques as well. If there's a decent supply for the amount of uniques, but it's not something people need until later on, then it might be better off holding on to it. And also, similarly, if it's a very valuable unique, then you have to be aware of the fact that not that many people early in the league, in the first day or so, have that much currency to spend on the item. So if something is worth potentially several exalts, then not that many people are going to have several exalts. And of those small percent of people that have several exalts, the amount of money that you want for that item, then those people might not even want that item you want, right? Like you need to actually find the perfect pair of someone who has the money and also needs that item. And that's just very difficult to do in the first day or two. So in those cases, it can be better off holding on, you know, put it up for a premium. Don't resist the temptation to list it for a lower price. And even if someone else throws up theirs for a lower price and sells it, you know, something you think you can sell for 3x in a couple days time, and they end up selling it for like 20C or something, then, you know, let them do that, but hold on to it for a few days and make better money once people actually have the money to spend on your premium item. This is an example of a rare version of what I was just talking about, this idea of finding something that is potentially valuable in several days, but right now wouldn't sell for much. This is a weapon elemental damage crit multiplier Energy Shield neck. This is a very good neck. To find on day 1, this is an insane neck. However, this is for a LE crit, like CI build, right? LE crit CI. So we're talking like Inquisitors and things like that. These guys are not CI yet, so they're not really looking for emeralds like this. They're looking while leveling just for things with like added lightning damage and life and a resist. That's what they're looking for at the moment. But in a couple days time, these guys are gonna be looking for this. So I could try and sell this for like a couple C right now. I could probably sell this for 5C if I put it up. But I can get more for it in a couple days time once these people actually switch to CI. So kind of be aware of where people are at in like the context of things and in the context of what you're trying to sell and how much you're trying to sell it for. So it'll be interesting to see how much this amulet sells for, and maybe I'll update you guys on that later. But for now, just have it listed up for 15C. And if someone has the money and is ready for this item, then I'll get it. Otherwise, I'm quite willing to wait on an item like that. Alrighty guys, that's it for now. I should probably go get some sleep. Hope you guys enjoyed this somewhat rambly look at trading in an early league. Pretty good first day. I look forward to jumping into the real meat of things in day 2. We know we're at endgame now, really getting stuck into the endgame stuff and starting to produce some serious money tomorrow is going to be a lot of fun. So if you guys have any other questions or comments on trading, or if you enjoyed this video and want to see some more, let me know in the comments below. That's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.